beautiful, cool morning, and I hope that you enjoyed your sleep. I mean, the weather is so cool, so you should. All right, then. Good morning, and you're welcome to the Kunle Amzat studio this morning. I don't know. I'm triggered to say thank God I didn't meet Bro Lati in the studio this morning again.
Okay. He's probably listening to you.
He's probably listening, but I'm saying thank God I didn't meet him in the studio today.
He'll catch up with you.
I know, right? All right, today is a Wednesday, and that is June 26th. Another great day to discuss about our great nation, Nigeria. My name is Wuraola Yusuff, and as usual, I'll be taking you through the rounds of the front pages of our daily newspapers this morning. The stories are making the rounds, and also Maestro in the studio would help us with how to understand these stories better, because in one way or the other they affect and concern us, because that is the decision of the people in power. And also this is as a result, some stories are as a result of how the citizens of this great nation, including you and I, how we are relating in this country. Right, I'll be starting from the Nation newspaper this morning, where I have the story that says Tinubu opt for more consultation on the issue of minimum wage. The writer to the story says the president to meet with governors, council chiefs, private sector players. On the front page of Daily Trust newspaper, we also have the story saying governors, Labour convene emergency meeting as FEC steps down memo on minimum wage. Also on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, FEC steps down memo on new minimum wage. Quite a lot of writers to the story on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu to consult governors, private sector. And that is coming from the information minister saying wage award will continue for now. We expect new wage implementation by July ending. That one is coming from Labour. On the front page of Vanguard newspaper, the story is also written as Tinubu to consult governors, OPS on minimum wage. Says he can't take decision on new minimum wage alone. Insists the input of governors, local government, OPS vital. The era of paying a slave wage is gone. That one is coming from Labour. Any amount above 62,000 naira will create crisis, a job loss. That one is coming from NECA. And that is the story concerning the minimum wage on the front pages of our daily newspapers this morning. Moving on, National Assembly to get supplementary budget tomorrow. And also the story on page 4 says EFCC tenders Emefiele's account statement. And I think this is something coming from Emefiele himself saying, I want to travel abroad. Also on page 4, we have the story saying economic indices remain positive. That is coming from Wale. From Sokoto government, they are saying no plan to dethrone Sultan Abubakar. That is on page 32. On page 37, we have the entertainment news talking about the wedding of the year. Saying Davido Weaves get 85 million naira SUV at show-stopping wedding. I'm sure Lagos people, they are still feeling the impact of the traffic that happened yesterday because of the wedding. All right. Customs officer drops dead during questioning by House of Reps panel. That story is on page 3 and it is quite a sad one. And that is also, it is coming at a time where, I don't know, the story is just coming out of nowhere and it is quite saddening. Family, friends, associates converge on Ajimobi's residence for Fidao. That story is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper today. Moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper, Northwest governors unite against insecurity. A couple of writers to that. The first one says, exploring comparative advantage, our strength. Another one says, we have what it takes to defeat bandits. That is coming from Lawal. UNDP, others pledge continued support. That story is on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper and continued on page 4. Custom officer slums dies during Reps Committee's investigative hearing. That story, once again, is on page 25 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Really pray the family of the dead, God gives them the fortitude to bear the loss. Page 19, worst of Naira volatility over. That is coming from Cardoso himself, a powerful statement on page 19 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving on page 5, we have a story that says, no plan to dethrone Sultan, so you all should go and Fokonbale. That one is coming from Sokoto government, not written like that, but it is written as a no plan to dethrone Sultan. On the issue of student loan on page 8, federal government postpones application process for state institutions. On the issue of the cholera outbreak, FEC approves Interministerial Committee on Emergency Operations. The story is on the front page of Nigerian Tribune if you want the details to that story. And it is continued on page 4. We'll most likely discuss that this morning as well. Ways and Means securitization responsible for 24 trillion naira debt rise. That is coming from DMO on page 6. Cardoso expresses optimism about taming inflation, says CBN will adhere to conventional methods. That story is on page 6. Explosion of rocks, Port Harcourt kills a dynamite-bearing protester. Wow, rocks, Port Harcourt. Alright, the writer to that story says anti-Fubara forces enjoying federal might. Clark tells Tinubu. I'm sure my show will have something to say about that headline today. Explosion rocks Port Harcourt. Alright, moving on to the Vanguard newspaper this morning, which will be the last newspaper where we shall be reading headlines before we delve straight into the stories we want to discuss. NSA alert on terrorist recruitment plots using media platforms. That is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Lagos Island stands still as Davido Chioma exchange marital vows. Yes, according to what I said before. That story is on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. The federal government moves to sell 3 aircraft and presidential fleet to buy 1. That story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper, and I'm looking forward to the interesting conversation that will come out of that this morning from we in the studio and also from people that will call in. Alright, then we have the story on the front page of Vanguard newspaper saying that the president has directed FEC to set up committee to oversee emergency operations on cholera. Their stories, alongside others, are what we shall be discussing this morning with, of course, Maestro. Good morning, Maestro. You're welcome.
Good morning.
All right, you're welcome to the studio. Were you team online in-laws watching Chivido wedding from home, or maybe you got an invite and didn't tell us yesterday?
So far away from reality.
All right, then. Let us talk about the story, which quite a lot of people are actually thinking about right now, because yesterday at the FEC meeting, we all thought we were going to see the end of the federal government and labor union tussle on minimum wage. I mean, we were supposed to get a response. Of course, we did get a response, but maybe not what people were expecting. Because and now President Tinubu has opted for more consultation. They already set that aside, saying that he needs to meet with governors, council chiefs, private sector players, and also local government authorities, because he cannot make the decision alone. He needs to consult with them before bringing out whatever it is he wants to bring to the National Assembly for approval.
All right, so what's bringing that about is the insistence of Labour on 250,000.
Yes.
I think they were about to resolve in the neighborhood of 60-something, 70,000. And Labour appears to, have the impression that it could push further and get more. And that, I think, nudged, the government, federal government, state governments, and the OPS to say, okay, let's play this game. So that's where we're at now. It's unfortunate. But then, from experience, these things don't end clinically like that. They don't just We don't get a slice at the end of the day that this is the conclusion. It just goes about like this and it fizzles out. A conclusion will come somewhere along the line. In our experience, that's how it works. So, and the figure that they will reconcile over will just be there. If you look back in time to the 35,000 naira thing, it was just like a real shupa like this, and then they just came up with 35, and as they were coming up with 35, the OPS was silent. The OPS was silent, and the state governments were saying no, we can't pay, that much. So, and that's the route we traveled to this point. And I don't see anything that is a game changer that is going to, bring in a new kind of process, clinical finish. I don't think so. But I know that we are going to get past this point. The way we always do. Labour would at some point say, okay, I think this is what we could get. So, and they will take it. And then you will hear pockets of protests at the states. It will happen. Mark, it will happen. Just mark my words, remember. So
of course we shall remember.
Then there's a few states will say we can pay. You won't hear any noise there. Some states will say no, we can't pay this. Then you will hear some protests and so on. That too will fizzle out. And then we go on with our lives.
And we'll have some people paying
it's
and
always,
some people not paying.
That's what happens always.
But don't you think anything different will come out of the meeting the president wants to have with the governors and the local government?
No, I think he's just buying time.
Buying time?
No, there's nothing real there. It's because, you see, when I get serious with you to a point, and you keep, giving me, outrageous figures, then I can play the game with you.
That means you're not ready. Then
I can play the game with you. Oh, you want 50? Okay, let me go and consult everybody in the world before I return to you. And then Labour will now say at some point, okay, if you are going to keep consulting forever, we too will go on strike.
Exactly. And I want to ask, what will be their reaction to
this? No,
this?
It's a cycle. We are familiar with the cycle. They do it, and life goes on. Don't forget that no matter what happens between the two of them, their entirety is not up to 5% of the Nigerian population. And we have to get our lives going one way or the other. And that is the force that propels Nigeria eventually. The determination of about 95% of the population of Nigerians to keep going on despite, government, despite the people who are going on strike.
And then we'll move back to the cycle again. Negotiation, maybe let's say in the next how many years, we'll move back to the cycle.
We are going to come back there because most of us don't understand our country. And if we don't understand our country, we cannot really, set our energies behind what will change our country the way we want it to change. And that's why we are so constantly talking about restructuring the country. It's what's going to take all these things away.
All right, then let us move to the issue of the cholera outbreak, where we had a DEFEC meeting yesterday. They approved the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Emergency Operations, and that is for them to work on how best to tackle this cholera issue. I think we already discussed something like this yesterday, about this being the outcome of that. The president saying something about committees, and then we start seeing the numbers. And then we have the Lagos state government saying that the cause of the death we have had because of cholera is because of the fact that it didn't come out early. People they didn't report them early.
Yes, if you take your time too much with cholera, it kills. It's deadly. But if you report to the hospital immediately,
as soon as possible,
it's no longer as deadly as all that. It is deadly in its own, right. But if you get patients to the hospital quickly enough, lives will be saved.
Right.
That's why I was saying yesterday that what we should be concentrating on now is equipping hospitals with, what they will need to attend to these emergencies. Not to be talking about vaccines, but vaccines will probably raise a lot of funds for contracts.
All right.
So you
I
have
get where you're
to,
going.
billions will be spent on importing
Rolled out.
vaccines, and then
All right, then I guess that is to tell our people that when you see or you feel that, okay, this looks like cholera, you should report that.
the moment the first vomit tells you something.
Yeah.
In fact, before that, there's a lot of discomfort. At the risk of sounding like a health practitioner, which I'm not, but at least we know some of these things.
We've seen.
It's very, very uncomfortable for the child or anyone. And then the first vomit should just raise your alarm.
And be immediately
and you
reported.
should be on your way to the hospital by the second one.
All right, then. Let's go pay some bills. So when we're back, we'll continue the conversation in the studio. We'll be back.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
Ó yá gbà ọmọ mi ọ̀wọ́n.
Mami, ẹ fi mílìkì sí ni.
Kò di dandan ìwọ tó wò ná.
Báwo lẹ ṣe ṣe?
Ǹjẹ́ mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye?
Ní gidi gan.
Ṣé ọ̀rá wàrà náà ẹ̀ ṣàn tó?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy nìyẹn o. Mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye. Mi ò nílò láti ṣàfikún mílìkì sí.
Mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀ màámi.
Fún àwọn ọmọ rẹ ní Milo 3-in-1 milky àti creamy tuntun, mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye, ó kún fún káṣíọ̀mù láti ran àwọn ọmọ rẹ lọ́wọ́ láti yege lójoojúmọ́. Milo, agbára láti tẹ̀síwájú.
Milo!
My baby is 6 months old.
Oh my!
6 months old? Wow! Now your baby needs more than breast milk. It's time to introduce mashed meals. In addition to breast milk, begin to give your baby mashed meals that contain at least one item from each of these 5 food groups: eggs, fish or meat, fruits and vegetables, oils, beans, groundnuts, soya or millet, rice, potato, maize or yam. From 6 months. In addition to breast milk, your baby needs this combination of food types to grow healthy. This message is from the ANRIN Project or your State Ministry of Health.
No matter waiting, I show you, you show me love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You show me, you show me, you show me love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock last.
Madam, you don't try this new Lush Hair 4-in-1 no lie relaxer kit. We get free neutralizing shampoo and conditioner join.
What? Me, I know deal.
You not even sabi wetin dey happen for town. You see this Lush Hair relaxer so?
E no dey pepper, e no dey burn. E go even make your hair shine like oil.
Na so, Lush Hair relaxer kit na correct. We no go make your hair cut. We no go make your hair dry. E no dey pepper and e dey relax hair well well. Anytime. Come buy your own.
Lush Hair. Be beautiful.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
All right, well, back, and in case you're just joining us, this is the dailies right here at Agidigbo. And do not forget that you can also watch us on our Facebook Live at Agidigbo 887 FM. And also, you can as well listen to us via your radio bill. Facebook is there. All right, let us move on to this story, which seems more like a clarification. I think we had this news last week or so, talking about buying a new presidential fleet. But then what happened was that last week when we had the news, there was some sort of controversy regarding who should we be doing this at this time. Should the president be getting a new aircraft at this time of the time of whatever it is that we're facing in the country as citizens? Everywhere is hard. Things are hard. And we had outbursts from people last week. And this is the news saying the federal government moves to sell 3 aircraft in presidential fleet to buy 1. Now they have concluded plans to sell 3 aircraft and use the proceeds to purchase a new one. Maestro.
There's nothing new there. It's the entire information that we've had and we've talked about.
Yes.
So There's really nothing there to.
All right. More like clarification to our people out there that they are selling 3 to buy 1, just like we said. Last
It
week.
doesn't stop anybody from still kicking against it. You understand? It's the way we look at things. It depends on how you look at things. The fact that they are even saying, "Oh, we are selling 3 to buy 1," you just wait for what you will get. It doesn't stop anybody who believes that things have to be measured by a constant clock, inside the mind. Even the clock is correct twice in 24 hours. But if you are stuck there's nothing anybody can do to help that situation. I would have been angry if we're saying, "Oh, let's go and buy a new one," and we're taking fresh money. That would have been against reason. The reason I'm saying that is, and then it depends on the information you have. Sometimes you are not informed and you want to just jump inside the pool. The point is, I've always known that they had a lot of jets inside the fleet, the presidential fleet.
40.
At some point, they even said 11. Now they say 10. So 6 aeroplanes, and you have about 4 choppers, helicopters. So if you and the one that the president even uses for a very long time now, from I think Obasanjo to Buhari to everybody, that one is about 19 years old. Is about 19 years old. And what they are telling us is, it's unserviceable. That so if you keep spending money on it, you stand some risk, and apart from that, you're wasting money. So what you do is you cut to it. Is what is done in every organization, like
even in business.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You buy a generator, or a vehicle for official purposes. You use it for about 2-3 years. No noise, no nothing. You sell
to buy
buy a new one, and you keep it going like that. So, but at some point, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, as vice president, cheated death twice. He was lucky twice. Crash landed twice. So these things are real. And if you think, it doesn't concern me, you don't know who that will be on that
that will be
aircraft.
concerned.
So sometimes we need to be expansive in our thoughts, but you cannot help the person who is going to say, "I don't care, I'm hungry, therefore nobody should buy aircraft," and that's the end of it.
All right, then, let us go to the story of student loan, as we have a NEL fund postponing application of state-owned institutions for 14 days. The reason being that the action was, they said this was due to low data submissions from state institutions. And so they have to just extend that. The response they are getting from the state institutions is not quite forthcoming. So we've extended. What do you think?
I don't quite get that.
All right. The NEL Fund, the Institutions Loan Fund, explained in a statement yesterday that this action of postponing applications of state-owned institutions for 14 days is due to the fact that there is a low data submission from these state institutions.
Okay. Well, it's just 14 days. It's soon gone.
They've gotten response from just a few of them. What do you think could be the reason for this?
So we might just wait for 14 days.
Okay.
It's not long.
Or maybe these people, state institutions, they do not need the loan.
It's not like they don't need the loans. I'm sure they do, one way or the other. But you always have, give people the benefit of the doubt. You have hiccups sometimes. You have this bureaucratic stuff going on. But if they are coming out to say, we'll sort this out in 14 days, the only antidote to payment is for you not to owe. If you owe, that day will soon come up.
Exactly. All right, then let us move on from that story and go straight into Rivers State. We had a couple of things happening yesterday, and among that was the fact that, there was not supposed to be a protest, but then yesterday we had what did they call it? Was it works or some things like that? And then some people in solidarity marches. Yes, that's it. Solidarity marches for Wiki, and we also had some sort of. But then one thing that caught my attention was the fact that this headline on the front page of Nigerian Tribune saying explosion rocks Port Harcourt, kills dynamite, bearing protester. All right. What they said happened was the fact that
it kills a dynamite bearing
protester. Yes.
Okay.
But what they said was that this person had this. I mean, there was a wound, and that looks like an explosion wound. And from the fact that they said what they saw there was more or less like the person was trying to, maybe like a bomb or something, was trying to detonate a bomb, and this happened. There are still some things in this story. Maybe, okay, is it true or not? Is something in these? Are we trying to play politics concerning the security status of the state? Before we discuss further on that, let's go pay some bills, and when we're back, we'll delve straight into it.
It's 7 a.m. on Agidigbo 88.7 FM.
Agidigbo 88.7 FM.
Ìmọ́tótó ló lè ṣẹ́gun àrùn gbogbo.
Ọwọ́ èmi àti ẹ lọ̀rọ̀ wà láti dáàbò bo ara wa lọ́wọ́ àrùn kọ́lẹ́rà. Ẹ jẹ́ á ṣèmọ́tótó àyíká wa ká sì máa dáàbò bo oúnjẹ wa lọ́wọ́ kòkòrò àrùn. Ìkéde yìí wá láti iléeṣẹ́ rédíò Àgídìgbò 88.7 FM Ìbàdàn.
Ìmọ́tótó ilé, ìmọ́tótó oúnjẹ, ìmọ́tótó ló lè ṣẹ́gun àrùn gbogbo.
Gbogbo wa lájọ ní bẹ́bẹ́ ìsìlámù.
Àsàlámù àlékún múmìnà ọ̀dà àbáhùn àsìkò ti tó fún gbogbo àwa mùsùlùmí láti pàdé ní yídì géètì ńbàdàn ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Wednesday. Aago 7 àárọ̀ làdúrà ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ fáwọn tí ń wojú Ọlọ́run fọ́mọ. Aago 8 ní tàwọn olóyún tí wọ́n ń bẹ lọ́hùn kí wọ́n sọ̀ nírọ̀rùn. Aago 9 láwọnú àgbà àdúrà àsàlátù láì wọlé pẹ̀lú àwọn àfáà ńláńlá Abdulrahman Oríyọmí Hamzat nígbẹ̀yìn bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Èmi ní màá kí yín káàbọ̀ pé sàlámù àlékún. Ìpàdé di Wednesday ní yídì géètì láago 7 àárọ̀. Ọlọ́run mọ̀jẹ̀ ń gbẹ̀yìn bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Bẹ́bẹ́ Islam ìlàlẹ̀ àmọ́.
Àṣẹ bẹ́bẹ́ ìsìlámù àtúbọ̀ máa fẹ́lẹ́lẹ́ o. Bẹ́bẹ́ ìsìlámù àwọn àgbàtí gòkè àgbà.
Agidigbo 88.7 FM.
All right, we're back, and before we left, we were trying to talk about the explosion that happened in Port Harcourt, Rivers State yesterday. Alongside that, we had the community women of Port Harcourt barricading the Port Harcourt airport, saying that they have some worries about the fact that they are being ignored, despite the fact that they are very close to the Port Harcourt airport, and that the governor says something concerning that, saying that is not the way to go. Barricading that place is not the way to go. But he said if you are actually very close to the Port Harcourt and you are not enjoying the benefits of that, I mean, you could say something, but barricading the Port Harcourt is not the best way to go on that one. Let us go to the story that the main one. Let me say the main one from Rivers, where we had a middle-aged protester among the pro-Wike group. That is as reportedly killed by the explosive he was alleged to be carrying while in a protest in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. It said the incident, which caused the pandemonium, was said to have occurred in front of the Hotel Presidential in the heart of Port Harcourt, while the victim was trying to discharge the dynamite. The person is at large now, and they have allotted hospitals where they see someone, maybe someone coming in with a wound that seemed like might have been gotten from explosion.
Who is at large?
The person.
The person who blew himself up?
Yes. According to them, he had a very big wound on his hand. Maybe almost. So, they see anyone like that.
So, well, we just have to condemn this violence going on in that place. It has to be condemned because we don't even know what's true anymore.
Exactly.
And this story, sounds curious to me that you are in the midst of protesters like you, and then you hold a dynamite which you wanted to do what with? Detonate so that you will blow up yourself and your co-protesters? I don't know.
There's even two sides to it now. Some people are saying he's dead. Some are saying some news are reporting, some news agents are reporting that he's dead. Some are saying he's at large.
Which is why I was asking that question. Someone who was affected by that explosion was able to escape from the scene. But we don't have enough on the severity of the injury. We don't have it. And then we now have another report that is dead. So it tells you that we don't know what is going on. We need to know that in order for us to be able to comment on it sensibly. We must have the information that we need. We don't know what's going on there. Concerning the women who went to barricade a place.
Yes.
I think the governor is right in saying that's not the right way to go about it. Because if you barricade the road lane to the airport, you are going to affect a lot of people. People who are even innocent, people who don't know anything about what you're protesting over will be affected. And you affect the economy of your state. You slow it down one way or the other. So the governor is right. The only problem is that he doesn't say that about all protests. So when the protests are in his favor, he doesn't say that.
There is nothing wrong.
So it's only when it's not in his favor that he says things like that. Again, the big issue should be resolved. And the big issue here is the rift between him and his mentor.
Okay.
So if that's taken care of, Rivers will be at peace. And I think it's very important to address the issue at the heart. Unfortunately, this is a moment of great benefit for people who are showing up in solidarity. You need to see I call it a skit. I saw what Asari Dokubo came out, to challenge Wike. Who are you? And all that. So it's a moment for people to benefit.
Pick the more the side that you think will benefit you more.
Yeah, showing a lot of solidarity, especially to the governor. The governor is the heaviest dispenser in any state, and everybody recognizes, that fact. Know that, showing up in solidarity with the governor of Rivers is a big deal.
And also we have Chief Edwin Clark yesterday writing to the president again, alleging that those fomenting trouble in the state are being buoyed by federal might, because it seems like you're not even looking at our side. You're not seeing what is going on. Is it that you're content with whatever is going on in the state right now?
You have to give a lot of latitude to Pa Edwin Clark. He's been there for a very long time, mostly, saying the right things. Excuse me. And now he's an old man, and so he deserves a lot of respect, which I think we should always, accord him whenever he pops up. But the problem here is he's asking the president to intervene. Now, the president is always in a catch-22 situation. He's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. So if the president, you remember the last time he came in, a lot of people were all over him saying, this is not about federal this thing. He shouldn't have intervened. He shouldn't have done this and that. I'm not sure. I can't recall the precise position of Pa Edwin Clark that time. He probably was one of the ones saying the president should stay clear. Now, he's asking the president to get involved. So in some instances, you never say never. But I think he's right in calling on the president. Because nobody else has the kind of influence that the president has in matters like this. So I don't see anyone else who could call the two of them to a table and say, sit down, let's resolve this. It's only the president, not essentially Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but the Nigerian president by virtue of that office and the powers attached to it, could do that. So that's where I believe that Pa Edwin Clark is right and should intervene so that there will be peace in that place.
He said quite a lot of things too about Wike, saying the president doesn't know Wike, and also should Wike be doing this as a former governor who suffered under the heavy hand of a president before? Should he be doing this to Fubara at this point and saying that he's not allowing Fubara to do whatever it is he's supposed to do as a governor? Because yesterday I think I also saw some people, a protest or some sort of that, saying they have issues with education, nothing is going as it's supposed to go, no development at all since they came into office, and so they are tired.
No, I don't. I think they are saying that because they are supporting Wike. So it's a deep political rift.
Anything to ruffle feathers.
It's a very deep political rift that you can only see what's going out. It depends on how expansive that you are. This is politics. So anybody coming in with some kind of moral preachment is wasting everybody's time. It's not about morality. So say there shouldn't be godfathers anywhere. Reality is that there's always godfather in politics.
In every state.
Everywhere in the world.
In your state.
Everywhere in the world.
Okay.
There is always a godfather somewhere. It now depends on the measure of influence that the godfather has or is allowed to have. See, you're saying in Oyo State, do you want me to tell you the politics of Oyo State?
I mean, I'd love to listen.
There is no moment where you didn't have godfathers. Yes, it only depends on the measure of influence. Okay, where do you want to start tracing it from? Do you want to start with Lam Additional? How far do you want to go? So that I can keep attaching godfathers for you.
I'm talking about now.
All the way down.
It doesn't seem obvious.
The measure of godfatherism that took place, largely, Engineer Seyi Makinde is his own man, largely.
Okay.
Largely. But he had godfathers. It's just that they were not as powerful, as. So, if anybody wanted to go haywire, he was able to ignore for a moment. Maybe they will reconcile.
But he mentioned it. He mentioned it sometime. I think it was the day they were having the state of the state at the State House of Assembly.
Yes.
Where he said, okay, people are having issues with Godfather. That's because, but then there is no Godfather in Oyo State, so we have no issues.
Well, he sees it from his own angle. But we are journalists, we are reporters, and we can see it from another angle. That's what I'm telling you, that it's likely his own man. Okay, who's Governor Lam Adesina's godfather? Would you know? Who was Governor Ajimobi's godfather? Would you know? And then it might not be godfather. Sometimes it's godfathers.
Fathers.
Yes. And that's even easier. But you see, every time we talk about godfather, people see the Lagos State scenario. That, okay, Asiwaju, preeminent and so on, is the mass. Okay, you have that. You also have some other ones. You have different types. And sometimes an immediate past governor is the godfather of the incoming one. Why? Because people always want their man in office to succeed them.
Yeah.
So it's not something that you could rule out in politics. The extent of godfatherism is what's always in question. It's not the absence or presence of it. That it's always constantly there. That's the truth.
All right, then. I'll take that from you. Okay, let us move on to the story of traditional institutions. Yesterday, we had Atiku talking about it, saying, see, we need to make these institutions more solid. We shouldn't allow state governments to just interfere in the affairs of traditional institutions. We need to make them more solid. And also, there is another story, maybe a reiteration from Sokoto government, saying there is no plan at all to dethrone the Sultan. So this is concerning politics.
It's not entirely true. The idea is not to dethrone the Sultan. The bill that people are complaining about is that bill seeks to reduce the influence and powers of the Sultan. And it's not only dethronement, that is bad. Sometimes when you go and affect the extent
clip their wings
of his powers, is the extent of his influence, that's also bad. It's also bad. And people, governors and people in government do it with different tactics. So this one is like, oh, we are not dethroning him. Oh, it's not the Kano situation. But then what is it? If the Sultan could appoint, his chiefs, and you're now affecting the power to appoint, if the Sultan could issue orders on transfers before, and you seek to control that so he could not transfer people, sometimes you transfer your subjects for punitive purposes. That maybe somebody did something wrong and you didn't want to really clobber them all over. And you say, okay, I'm transferring you to a less juicy position just to know that you did something wrong. Those things, they do happen.
All right, then. Right now, we have to go pay some bills. So when we're back, we'll continue the conversation in the studio concerning our great nation, Nigeria. We'll be back.
Akitibo 88.7 FM.
5 Alive Poppy. So much pop. So many ways to pop it. He gulps it. She chews it. He slurps it. Filled with pulp in every bowl. Everyone pops it their way. So, how do you pop it?
See how I'm using corner eye to look at you as you keep pressing *321# on your phone. Is it not credit that you want to borrow from Glow?
Yes, now. What happened? Has the code changed?
Where have you been, girl? *303# is the new code to borrow credit and data on Glow.
So the code is no longer *321#, but *303#?
Confirmento. Voila! It worked, oh! Before Uncle, *303#, not before show. But, guy, I hope so the data where you borrow go reach me and you.
Dial *303# to borrow credit and data on Glow and pay later. *303#, new code, same great ease.
Glow Unlimited.
Congratulations! Do not waste time. Put your baby to breast within the first 1 hour of delivery to give that first yellowish milk colostrum. Colostrum has all the important nutrients your baby needs to start a healthy life. Colostrum also helps to protect your baby against diseases. Remember, put your baby to breast within the first 1 hour of delivery. This message is from the ANRIN Project or your State Ministry of Health.
Big mommy, add that bokoto we go senior school. Put 2 roundabout. Anoint the package with that slim thick shaki and
Uncle, no vex o. Which teeth you wan use eat all this orishi? That your teeth will be like where motor jam truck. E no dey worry you again.
That one na before. All thanks to the new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection.
That's right. The new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection toothpaste gives you complete oral protection with fluoride and antibacterial zinc to keep your teeth strong, prevent tooth holes, and fight bacteria.
Please have to go buy my own new Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection toothpaste.
Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection for your important oral care needs. Available in a blue gel.
Láti dènà àrùn ìgbẹ́ gbuuru àti àrùn mìíràn, pàápàá nínú àwọn ọmọdé, fọ ọwọ́ rẹ pẹ̀lú ọṣẹ àtomi tó ń dà ṣooro. Ní pàtàkì jùlọ, tó o bá lo ilé ìgbọ̀nsẹ̀ tán lẹ́yìn tó bá ti ṣàǹdí fọ́mọ tán kó o tó ṣoúnjẹ ọmọ rẹ tàbí kó o tó fún un lóúnjẹ. Àti pé o, tí ọmọ rẹ bá ní àìsàn ìgbẹ́ gbuuru, fún un ní oògùn oníwóró zinc lẹ́ẹ̀kan lójúmọ́ àti ORS ní wákàtí mẹ́rin tàbí kí ẹ máa fún díẹ̀díẹ̀ nínú ife. Èyí á jẹ́ kọ́mọ rẹ lè ní ìdápadà omi ara àtokun. Bákan náà, yọjú sílé iṣẹ́ ètò ìlera tó bá súnmọ́ ọ jùlọ láti gba ìtọ́jú fọ́mọ tó ní àìsàn ìgbẹ́ gbuuru.
Ìkéde yìí wá láti àkànṣeṣẹ́ ANRIN, iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Akitibo 88.7 FM.
right, you're welcome back. Let us move on to this story where we have governors of 7 states in the northwest resolving to work together through a robust regional cooperation to solve the seeming intractable security challenges plaguing the zone. The governors said that this is to pave a way for the robust socio-economic development for millions of people in the region. Maestro, what do you think about this coming together of the Northwest governors?
Yes, coming together of the Northwest governors. I will attempt to shortly. I want to say happy birthday to my daughter. Kikiolua baby is celebrating today. And I hope you have a blast. Dada loves you very much. See you later.
That's so sweet. Happy birthday to you, Kikiolua.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your day. Cappy, do you have something for us?
Sure. Yeah. No problem. So the thing is, this is some kind of response to the southwest, southern thing going on. But I will have you know that that's the most cohesive. It's the most cohesive, political group. And they have really advanced in political techniques, effective political techniques, in this confluence. So if I say they are reacting, I might not be absolutely correct. Because they have been there for a very long time.
Amen.
With their think tanks, with their highly effective mechanisms by which they've been able to survive from moment to moment in Nigerian political setting, having the lion's share of everything. That's the Northwest first, then probably, yes, Northeast, and then Middle Belt, which they love to call North Central. I call it Middle Belt because I know it's not North Central, it's Middle Belt. So and I like this. The reason I like it is, I have always said it that if we fail to restructure, restructuring will force itself on us one way or the other. And what you're looking at now is you have the northern governors, just like you have the southern governors. Now, this is the northwest governors coming together to say, we need to take care of business. That is a zone. And I have always tied my own restructuring advocacy to zonal units because we cannot go back to the regions, but we can go back, we can function by the zones. And that's what makes me happy about the Northwest governors coming out to say, oh, okay, right now, the very present problem we have is that of security. And so we can tackle it and move on, to greater things. And they have a lot of potentials. That's a place where you could have massive, agriculture going on. You could have some other kind of enterprises, because they impute very little, but they take the lion's share. If you go and look at federal allocation and everything, you will see that they are ahead by far. Forget about derivation and so on and so forth. If you go and look at these places in terms of the sharing, they are far ahead. And so I think it's a good response to the coming together of Southwest governors and Southern governors. So
we hope something good comes out of that for the benefit of all Nigerians.
Hopefully.
All right, then. Let us talk about the Labour Party crisis, where we had the people protesting yesterday, storming the venue of the meeting of the National Working Committee in Abuja, saying that the tenure of Abure and other members of the National Working Committee would expire by month end, but so they should leave. We have Omar, a former president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, saying the issue at hand is that tenures of Abure and NWC committee would expire by the end of this month. And so there cannot be a vacuum in leadership. And we also have the transition committee chairman, Comrade Abdul Wahab, still Omar, saying it is either we make our way forward or we find our way forward. So what is happening? And we had to be coming out to say that we shouldn't worry, every discord within the party would be addressed in no distant time. But does that seem so?
Well, we don't know. It's been from one crisis to another. If it's not about frauds and court cases, it is about, whose tenure has expired and so on and so forth. I saw something about, I think it's Kenneth Okonkwo, Obi's spokesman during the election, who said, look, I can go anywhere. I can go PDP, I can go return to APC, I can go anywhere because I can't see myself inside this party where they could not even conduct elections to pick new officers. So while I don't believe that that's the only reason he's informing us that he might be leaving the party.
Just telling you now.
But then it's a valid reason, isn't it? That, look, if you cannot even do... But I don't think they will be able to escape the crisis. I don't think Mr. Peter Obi's confidence will be correctly placed. Not because he doesn't want it, but because, I think that party has been infiltrated mercilessly. And I don't believe that it's going to be a roller coaster till the next elections. They are going to be going from one crisis to the other. It's the kind of games that that people play in our politics in this country. It's the kind of game that the Obasanjo administration played with Alliance for Democracy and got it, to the ground. It's the kind of a game that people play around the place. So I don't believe that game will not be played to the fullest in the instance of the Labour Party to totally obliterate the chances of anybody who goes in there to... Because, like I said, it's the game we play in this country. It's not good, but, that's politics. And they do it to one another. But let's see if the confidence is correctly placed, if Labour Party will be in a good shape ahead of coming elections.
All right, then we hope that. But then we'll see. I mean, before we start the campaign for the next election, it's almost soon. So we'll see how they fare with that. All right, let us talk about this court case on Naira abuse, where we had the court striking out charges against Cubana yesterday, and that is for him to pay the sum of, was it 10 million? Yeah, 10 million naira fine to the federal government as a fine. But we still have risky in prison.
That's why they say the law is an ass. I know that it sounds bad that one person could pay 10 million naira and spring free, and the other person...
A first-time offender.
And the other person could not spring free. But, you see, this is where the thing is. The devil is always in the detail. And if you don't have the details, you will go moralist. That, this country is corrupt. Why would they give Obi Kubana this and not give Bobrisky? One, the court will never give you what you do not ask the court to give you. That's why they say the court is not Father Christmas. It doesn't gift you. You have to put a request on the table before the judge that this is what I want.
Okay.
So the judge might even know that, okay, this is what you should be asking, but he or she is not going to say, come, lawyer, this is what you should be asking. They
won't baby you
to
give you to ask
it
what you
depends
want.
on what your lawyer put before the judge. And I think they pleaded guilty.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
She may.
She, maybe, but he did.
Okay, whoever. So the point here is, what did they ask the judge? chief priest went in there saying, I'm not guilty.
Okay.
So they fought some things and, it ended up in fine. But this guy was like, or this girl, was, whoever said, we feel we are remorseful. And then so I don't, because I don't know how it could happen as quickly as that.
It was quick.
It was very quick because, you were saying, okay, I'm sorry. So I think that's a major part. The other part is some people have it in deep for this person before showing up to all this nonsense.
And then seeing him in that situation.
You see, it's rubbish. As far as we are concerned in this country, I don't know what they are doing in other countries. I don't know what they allow in other countries. In my generation and in this town, that is going to remain, very, very irritating forever. Or as long as I'm me. I'm not going to look at that thing and say I'm seeing, it's
maybe a human right or something.
I don't care. It's just nauseating. I'm not saying people should take away anybody's rights or not, but I don't want it near me. And it's an assault every time I see it. Because we're raising kids too now. And, we're battling raising kids that will start thinking in that direction, that there's something like that. It's so sometimes you get punished for people who have notched something for a long time against you, and then you go and play into their hands.
Exactly.
And then, lastly, people should be careful of portable.
Why?
Very careful, because he has a knack for casting.
I know, right?
And you might not end up where you want to be.
He even made a song. He went straight into she or his DM.
Brotherhood to the sisterhood.
Exactly.
So
I think that's where the stuff came from. I mean, you winning a best dressed female. We all know you as a male. What's going on?
Which is also nonsense that this Nollywood people did.
The set was for clout.
I don't care. That thing is bigger, way bigger than chasing clout with. It's a global conversation. It's way too big for you to trivialize it and say you want to use it for. As much as I appreciate the work of Eniola
Ajao, yes.
She's quite good and all that, but I think that was
on that part.
That was a low that she shouldn't have.
All right then, let us open the phone lines now for people to join in the conversation. And the phone lines to call. In case you do not know, we are going to reel out the phone lines to call. But before then, let's listen to this.
Thank you for your attention. It's been lovely to have you keeping it locked on Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Now is the time to join in the conversation, to have the word, hear your voice, because we are the people's voice. Meanwhile, while you contribute to this program, kindly note that in accordance with broadcasting ethics, you are requested to keep your contributions modest, truthful, concise, and not offensive, inflammatory, or with tendencies to cause discomfort to anyone. Thank you. Now, let the conversation begin.
All right, 0704-1001-887. 0704-1001-887 or +234-704-700-8873. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir. Your name or where you're calling from?
Good morning, MAESTRO.
Good morning. Your name?
Wuraola Yusuff is my name, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Regarding to Rivers crisis, I don't really understand what Mr. Fubara is trying to gain in trying to for him unable to manage the crisis on ground. You cannot training what you cannot swallow is a disaster. And at the end of the day, if Edwin Clark is now seeking the attention of Mr. President now. I believe Mr. President should please kindly ignore. Let Mr. Governor, who happens to be the chief security officer, do the needful. They've been together before. It was Ijalode Loridowe. So let them go and settle their scores. And at the end of the day, let Mr. President give order to the Inspector General of Police to try to do, to not, that the police shouldn't take bias. They shouldn't be biased. Anyone that is found wanting, let them deal with them ruthlessly. And back to the issue of godfatherism.
All right.
From my own observation, almost every leader, every political leader, they have their own godfather.
All right.
They might be trying to like playing some cards publicly that as if they don't have godfather.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. We told you before you have 1 minute flat for your contribution. Rashid Anelka says, hello, good morning, happy birthday to your daughter, Dada. Aww. And he also said it's really funny what Maestro is struggling with. She's he and that's and that's all.
I don't know what to the gender to.
She's a he and that's all. He will learn in a hard way now.
Yeah, she's a he. Idris must be a he.
Yeah, mommy of Lagos is a she though. All right then, let us read more comments and also let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, Olaliko Moses Oyelami from Alakia.
Okay, sir, your
You
contribution.
see, for me, this country, we have developed. In Africa, Nigeria is number one. We need a solid constitution for our politicians. As things is going on, it's not good. We are not happy. And you are doing program every day. There's nothing shaking Nigeria.
Concerning what
Now
exactly,
our government should think. And we done everything. I don't know the agenda this government has.
All right. Thank you so much. Please be specific about the story you're talking about. Whatever it is we've treated this morning, be specific about which one you're talking about. Thank you. On the Facebook page, we have a long poem from Rich Bass. Kudos to you. And also we have Olaliri Bayonle's comment too. Thank you, but that doesn't have anything with what doesn't have anything to do with what we've discussed this morning. Kolakpo Oluwatosin says the president said he will have to consult some stakeholders before he can reach an agreement with Labour. My question is, who did he consult before subsidy is gone and start giving the money from subsidy to the governors? Who did he consult before he started distributing palliative to easy effect on subsidy effect? Maestro, any comment on that?
No, it's a fair statement on one of the things that we discussed. So I have nothing to say to that.
All right. From Tolulope Adeyemi saying, honestly, things are hard in the country and as such, worker salaries should be increased. But I think it will be better that states are allowed to negotiate on their own since the financial capacity are not the same. We've been having this comment for quite a lot of days now. Same thing. Thank you so much for that and also for suggesting the salary structural adjustment initiative of Governor Makinde in Oyo State here. Thank you so much for look at Adeyemi. 0704-1001-887 0704-1001-887 or +234-704-708-873. Good morning, Maestro. You talked about zonal government. What is your position on new states creation? That is M. Stevenson. I think you've talked about that countless times in the studio.
I've been dead set against state creation, but I'm all for restructuring in the path of zonal. We have 6 geopolitical zones. We could really take off from there. Our economy, everything could take off, from the zones.
All right then. Yesterday in Oyo State, we had a news about 3 commissioners swapping portfolios in Oyo. And what do you think, Maestro, what do you think is usually the cause of this and maybe the effect? Has there been any situation we've had this in the past and then the effect is somehow positive or otherwise?
On the fair side, the chief executive of the state now must be doing his own assessment of, placing, the round pegs in round holes. And if at some point you assess and you notice that some people could be more efficient in other places, you can swap them. Sometimes it leads to the ouster of some people too. If if you have hopeless cases. So on the fair side, I think that's what leads to that. On the less than fair side, sometimes is political considerations and how you manage your affairs in relation to power. So that's
I get that. Let us take more calls 0704 1001 887 or +234 704 700 8873. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right. Please, when you put your call through, just stay by your phone line because we might be picking at any time. All right. So let us talk about the story. This is a very sad one. I don't know if you have any comment concerning that, where we had a senior custom officer that slumped and died during House of Reps probe hearing yesterday. They said, according to reports, it was swift, so fast. It happened so fast. He only requested for water in the middle of the probe hearing, and that was just it.
It's sad, but I believe that he must have been suffering from certain ailments. I don't know his age, but I think when we begin to hit certain, age categories, people are prone to these things, and it depends on how one is taking care of them. But you see, you can't take care of anything that will make you not die. So it's the Bible calls it the way of all flesh, and so when the time comes, when the car turns up, we simply have to go.
All right then. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right.
So when the card is turned up, we have to go, and it makes us sad, especially when when the people who have quite close loved ones and so on. It's the nature of life, and we simply have to endure it when it happens. We just pray that God will grant His loved ones the grace and power to bear His loss.
All right. We really hope so. John Akireli on our Facebook page says a civil servant have been taught how to wait. We are in the game together. Federal government is playing smart. A lot of arrears unpaid. The government teaches civil servants the way to corruption. Civil servants, or civil slaves are in pitiable situation.
Well, if you look at it from one angle, you will say all that is valid. If you look at it from another angle, you will see that the civil service in this country, created its own fortune and misfortunes. Like we said before, the politicians will go, they will return, they will go and come, but the civil servants are always there, calling the shots and showing the politicians the ropes. This is where to go, this is where not, this is how this is done, and so on and so forth. So it's sad, that we are always talking about these things and not doing a lot about them. But the way to do a lot about them is the way of restructuring. Unfortunately, we have not been able to push that as far as we should. But we won't get tired. We'll keep pushing because that's the solution.
All right. Adebayo Jobalauti says, on what happened yesterday during the investigation by the House of Reps, the senior officer who passed away. So painful. May Almighty God uphold members of his family. I will suggest the next time they should check the blood pressure of whoever they want to investigate to avoid stories that touch. I think we've had issues of people being probed, and then the most cases we've had is people slumping, and you also have them maybe needing fainting and things like that. Even Nigerians think, okay, this is more like a charade because of what is going on here. And
it's in two parts. Some of these people will come and make you feel like they are truly ill, and they are not. They simply, we have a lot of that. while some people are just very uncomfortable in such scenarios, within such contexts, whatever, ailments they were suffering from becomes aggravated because of anxiety and, everything. So I believe that maybe people could be creative about these things to at least save lives.
All right, then. Let's go pay some business. We're back. Who did the final lap of today's program of the dailies? We'll be back.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
No matter waiting, I show you, you show me love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You show me, you show me, you show me love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
I am pregnant. It is important for me to take care of myself and stay healthy.
To be strong and have a healthy pregnancy, take iron and folic acid tablets every day when you're pregnant. This prevents anemia and helps maintain a healthy pregnancy. Visit your healthcare provider for regular antenatal care. This message is from the ANRIN Project or your State Ministry of Health.
Madam, you don't try this new Lush Hair 4-in-1 no lie relaxer kit. We get free neutralizing shampoo and conditioner join.
What? Me, I know deal.
You not even sabi wetin dey happen for town. You see this Lush Hair relaxer so?
E no dey pepper, e no dey burn. E go even make your hair shine like oil.
Na so, Lush Hair relaxer kit na correct. We no go make your hair cut. We no go make your hair dry. E no dey pepper and dey relax hair well. Shikini time. Come buy your own.
Lush Hair. Be beautiful.
ọmọ ti dé ọmọ titun jòjòló òkú oríire má jáfara o gbọ́dọ̀ sọmọ lẹ́nu láàrin wákàtí kan àkọ́kọ́ tọmọ délé ayé láti fún un ní àkọ́kọ́ sí omi ọyàn aláwọ̀ òféèfé yẹn tí wọ́n ń pè ní colostrum. àkọ́kọ́ sí omi ọyàn colostrum yìí ní gbogbo èròjà pàtàkì tọmọ rẹ nílò láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìlera pípé ó sì ń ṣèrànlọ́wọ́ láti dènà àrùn fọ́mọ rẹ. rántí o fọ́mọ rẹ lọ́yàn láàrin wákàtí kan àkọ́kọ́ tó o bímọ. ìkéde yìí wá láti àkọ́ṣeṣẹ́ ANRIN iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
All right, so let's take more calls, maybe 1 or 2, and then read some more comments. On our Facebook page, we have Saseyi Abdulkabir saying that godfatherism is everywhere, even in Oyo State. Obviously, the governor is trying to become one himself. We have Eniola Ayefele Olayinka saying a happy birthday to Kiki Oluwa. And also, the Fasasi saying the man's death at the hearing must have been precipitated by anxiety. Obviously, there would have been an underlying cardiovascular problem. It seems like a whole lot of health terminologies going on there. All right, then.
That's not a big one.
I mean, for people talking about cardiovascular, okay.
We've been hearing cardiovascular since biology days.
I mean, not everyone.
The cardiovascular bundles. I don't know what the curriculum is like today. I have no idea. So
let's not go there.
Let me play safe.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Well, please, I want to talk to.
To who?
Hello.
Hello, who do you want to talk to?
Agidigbo.
Yes, this is Agidigbo Board. This is a program where you get to talk about the stories we've been talking about since. So if you've not been listening to us, I'm sorry, we cannot entertain your call this morning. Yes, we have a story coming from Oyo State, more like an announcement, because Oyo has opened a job portal for 7,000 primary school teachers, and you can find the details for where to apply to that it's in the front and the Nation newspaper today, and also it was also in our News Around the World bulletin yesterday.
Yeah, but I don't know how to.
All right, then. If you do not, you can come down to Agidigbo FM. Please come down to Agidigbo FM for whatever it is that you want to talk to us about. When you come to Rainbow Bus Stop, Agidigbo FM, yes, it's just there. come in and you shall be attending to. Thank you so much for calling in. 0704 1001 887. 0704 1001 887. Or plus 234 704 708 873. Kazim Malali says, may God be with the family of the custom boss, about natural or not. Death is a lesson. Our leader must know God is supreme and should better masses' lives and should not be making people under them to suffer the way they are doing now. All right. We also have a comment on our Facebook page from Lively Samson. I think saying to some analysts, the life of Mr. President is far better than that of millions suffering on account of their satanic policies. Who can pinpoint if they are turning to the national purse for new aircraft? Who's believing? Okay.
You see, ignorance is always going to play out. Let me tell you something about Air Force One. Air Force One is something that could take the American president and his family away in a nuclear war situation that could keep him in the skies for a long time.
Wow.
And you see, during the Second World War, special places were built, for American senators.
Senators.
Yes. So in governance, that's why I say people must be expansive. You see, it's not morning only when you wake up. If you wake up in the evening, that's not morning. That's just your own morning. But it's not everybody's morning,
I can understand that. 0704 1001 887. Or plus 234 704 7008 873. Let's see if we can pick a call or two before we leave this morning. Hello, good morning. All right, do we also call back, or maybe someone else's call can also come in. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. I'm from Para.
From where?
From Para.
Okay, sir. Para. All right, sir. Your contribution.
Yes, I want to greet Maestro for a very good job he's doing.
All right.
In Nigeria.
All right.
In fact, I really appreciate him.
Okay, thank you so much for appreciating Maestro. I'm sure he really appreciates that too. 0704 1001 887. Those are the phone lines to call to join in the conversation this morning on what we've been discussing. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Peter. I'm calling from Bodija here.
All right, sir.
Yeah. I just want to greet you guys this morning, and then I want to tell the speaker that you have been doing very well.
All right.
Thanks. I so much appreciate it. And then due to that man that slumped down cell yesterday, now, you didn't know how many people whose the situation of the country has been so much affecting that they are not yet in the state of probably death or something. And there are some that are dead that we don't even hear anything about them. Now, someone who is not really getting affected slumped and fell just within a twinkle of an eye.
Someone who isn't really getting affected? Is that what you said?
Yes, who isn't really getting affected about what is happening in the country, slumped and fell. Then you didn't know what even the poor people on the street, you didn't know what they are undergoing. You didn't know the kind of money they spend on their health daily. Anyway, I think with the little point of water, I think you should understand me better. So thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. I'm sure we do understand what you just.
Well, I think he's pointing to the fact that people who have, if they could fall and die like that, how much more?
Those we do not even see.
People who don't have a lot, to go by. I think that's the bottom line of.
All right. Your parting words this morning, Maestro.
Well, I still want to be talking to young people with open minds. That's the most important thing we could do at this point, to try and tell them to be more expansive in their reasoning, to be more studious, so that they understand the problems of their moment. And because they will soon grow up to be facing those challenges themselves.
Yes. Okay. We are listening and we are taking notes. Thank you so much. Yes, this is where we get to draw the curtain again this morning. Tomorrow is another day to join us in the studio to talk about our great nation and also to help us understand better the stories coming out, what they actually mean to us, and how they are affecting or can affect us. My name is Wuraola Yusuff. See you tomorrow in the studio again.
The views expressed by the guests and participants on this program are strictly theirs and do not reflect the opinion or approval of the presenter or Agidigbo 88.7 FM Ibadan.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
I have decided, concluded, to always listen to Agidigbo 88.7 FM, the people's voice.
No king has gone. Agidigbo